A very good evening, my students. So, I hope you all are uh, doing well and you are utilizing your time in the best way again during this Corona time, right? As you know that you have to appear for your board exams next year. So, that is one by one, lots of assignments we are doing multiple choice questions we are also practicing as well as we are doing the assignments for your boards also. So here today our assignment is from our third chapter and that chapter is human reproduction and this is our first assignment from this chapter and the first question is describe the structure of external genitalia of a human male. Now every one of us we are studying male reproductive system, right? In a very well manner, in thoroughly. But how to write your best answer from your information? Now you know everything about the male reproductive system. You must have drawn it in your notebook. But how to produce answer from that picture? That is more important when you are going to sit for any exam. That is more important for us. That how to use that information in writing best answers or marking best answer in the NEET. So the question is very simple that describe the structure of external genitalia of a human male. First thing that after reading this question that coming in mind is you have to tell us that what is external genitalia in males. It is penis, right? It is the external genitalia. First, write down its name. That is first step to explain any answer that what is asked to you. So you have to read question carefully. 15 minutes which are given during the board time only for the reading. That is what is helping you to read every questions very carefully, right? So external genitalia of a human male is penis. Now, if you recall penis, if we recall the transverse section of penis, so as you know that in our structure of external genitalia in the males, we have drawn this structure, internal structure, transverse section of penis, and the most important thing in the external genitalia in male is their erectile tissue. And what is that erectile tissue made up of? It is made up of two things. What is your corpora cavernosa and what is your corpora spongiosum, right? You know there are two corpora cavernosa and spongiosum through which there is urinogenital duct is passing through, which is making up your highly erectile tissue in the penis. So when we draw, as you can see, when we draw this male reproductive system, this is the, I have not drawn the full structure because we don't know the full reproductive system. We know the only the external genitalia part. So this is the head of the penis, tip of the penis, and tip or head of the penis is known as glans penis. This is clear to us. The tip or the head, it is a enlarged portion, and this is known as your glans penis. Now this glans portion, it has a folded skin. On this tip or the head, there is the skin portion, and that skin is known as foreskin. This is covered with a very loose fold of a skin. So this is, we have, when we draw this structure, then we label it also that this is called foreskin and this is your urinogenital opening, right? So things are, picturization is very clear. Now write down your best answer. We have already told to our examiner or the checker that the external genitalia in the males is penis and it is made up of specially highly erectile tissue which is your cavernosa, corpora cavernosa and corpora spongiosum, due to which, now why do penis they need erection? Because bacha, we have studied the insemination. The male gametes has to be deposited in the female reproductive tract, and this erectile tissue which is going to help the penis in erection. So this erection, it helps the penis in insemination process. So your third point is clear. First point, you have told the name. Second point, you have told the tissue. In third point, you have told the use, right? And fourth point, in the last point, you mention that what is the tip known as and what is the skin on the tip known as. Many students, they only just write down these theory part. Ki this external part is this and it has a, but bacha, why is not picturization is there? Why pictures are not included in your answer? Why not? Biology is all about pictures. Biology is all about your presentation with pictures. If you know, then draw it. Why are you not going to draw it? Right? So theory to every in the 2 lakh students, everyone is writing these points or they are writing more good points, but how you are separate from them, that is more important when you are producing your answers. So this is the best way when you are writing your subjective paper, right? Next question पे चलते हैं. Let's move to the next part in which that there is asked that what is hymen? Now, where this hymen is present, right? Hymen is a part of your female reproductive system. When you draw female reproductive system, you draw uterus, and at the base of uterus you draw one opening, and then you draw second opening, and this portion was your cervix. Am I right? This portion was cervix. Now, after this, there is this portion is vagina. Now, at the opening of the vagina, they are partially. देखो बच्चा vagina ये पूरा part vagina है. But this vagina is not completely covered with this structure. When vagina is covered partially, I will use the word partially, covered with a very thin fold, right? It is a very thin membrane structure that is known as hymen. So answer is given. Hymen is what? It is a very thin membrane which partially here like this. It is covering the vaginal opening, right? This was the vaginal opening और इस vaginal को cover किसने कर लिया है? इस vaginal opening को cover, who is covering this? That is hymen, right? So what is hymen that is covered? And why now? What is the, sometime it is given in your NCRT that it is torn during the first coitus or the first sexual act or the first intercourse. It is given that it happens. But now, this is the vaginal opening. So though that cover which is partially covered your vaginal opening, that is known as hymen. Now with this question, there was the second part which I have mentioned in the question 3. Why is presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity? Because it is given that it is present in the uh, virgin females. But why only its presence or absence is not a sign that female is virgin, indicator of virginity, or it female जो है that has undergone the sexual experience. It is not a confirmatory indicator, बच्चा. Hymen का break होना is not a confirmatory indicator that a female is not virgin, right? If a female's hymen is broken, now that you need to understand that hymen can be broken either when you ride a bicycle sometimes with a very vigorous, powerfully कोई आपको jolt मतलब एकदम धक्का लगता है or you are doing some powerful exercise and sometimes due to horse riding also and sometimes then there is I have written a very special point which these days females are using, that is vaginal tampon. It is a pad like structure that is used during the menstruation times. So बच्चा हाइमन का break होना is not a reliable indicator for virginity or the sexual experience that female has experienced the sexual intercourse. It is not a confirmatory indicator because it can be broken by the sudden fall or by the horse riding, by some vigorous exercise, or sometimes due to the vaginal tampon. In some, even in some human females, it has been seen that hymen persist even after the first sexual intercourse. So it is not at all a confirmatory indicator, reliable indicator to describe that a female is virgin or not. Let's move to the question number 4, which is very important because it deals with your hormonal part in the reproductive system. Here we are taking male. Here we are taking the male part. That here it has given a chart that hypothalamus is giving the signal to pituitary. Pituitary is then stimulating testes, and testes they are giving the sperms. Now, chart is very clear. Always the signal in the hormonal case, it starts where the signal starts. That signal comes from master of master gland. Who is the master gland first? Pituitary gland. Who is its master? That is hypothalamus. So what does hypothalamus doing? What does hypothalamus do? Hypothalamus secretes when during the male reproductive system, when the sperm formation happens. So how does it happen? The first signal coming through the hypothalamus. What is hypothalamus doing? It secretes something. Definitely it will give the signal, और signal हमेशा बच्चों hormones के form में होता है. These are glands. So hypothalamus, it secretes GnRH. Now what is GnRH? It is a gonadotropin releasing hormone. ये पूरी full form आपको आनी चाहिए बच्चा. GnRH. Gn is gonadotropin. R we use for releasing. H we use for hormone, right? It is a gonadotropin releasing hormone. What will it do? Where will it go? Where will it act? Lots of questions are coming in mind. So the signal already left, signal has already left its place. From where it is coming? Hypothalamus. Now it acts on the pituitary. अगर आप याद करो थोड़ा सा 11th का portion, pituitary has two lobes. One is your anterior lobe of pituitary. One is the posterior lobe. Here, one thing you need to mention very carefully in your answers. You have to be very specific. Don't talk in the air language ki ye bhi likh diya, wo bhi likh diya. Be very specific in your answers. Don't waste checkers time and don't waste your time also. Hypothalamus secretes GnRH. GnRH will act on your anterior lobe of pituitary, and pituitary जैसे ही signal receive करता है, pituitary gets the signal GnRH के through. Now it start releasing two gonadotropic hormones. Two gonadotropins, which are those FSH and LH. बच्चे LH को मैंने अपने notes में ICSH has also mentioned. Both are the same. LH is also known as interstitial cell stimulating hormone, right? And FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. Now the question is coming in mind. FSH का role males में. Bacha, pituitary secretes two main hormones during the sperm formation, FSH and your LH or ICH. The third thing we will see what are they doing. Now, FSH and LH, right? If there is the germinal epithelium we know in the seminiferous tubules because sperm formation की site क्या है? Seminiferous tubules. This is I have drawn one seminiferous tubule. In this tubule, you will see this germinal epithelium. Germinal epithelium has germ cells, and germ cells function is to release sperms. So FSH, it will stimulate योर जर्माइनल एपिथेलियम। तो जर्माइनल एपिथेलियम अपने आप काम नहीं शुरू करती है बच्चों, उसको कुछ किसी को बताना पड़ेगा, नॉक नॉक, नाउ प्लीज स्टार्ट वर्किंग, एंड दैट नॉक नॉक हैज बीन डन बाय दिस FSH. So FSH, it stimulates your germinal epithelium, right? And then it act on your Sertoli cells, because here in the germinal epithelium there are embedded Sertoli cells. So the signal, it comes to the Sertoli cells, and there is the regulation and stimulation of germinal epithelium, and spermatogenesis start. Sertoli cells secrete two protein. One is the androgen binding protein and one is the inhibin. Whenever there is this Sertoli cells, they have start releasing this protein. Now, if it is releasing androgen binding protein, there is sufficient amount of testosterone will be in the male. So the main purpose of FSH is, now don't get confused, the purpose of FSH is to stimulate the spermatogenesis. And how spermatogenesis will happen? When it act on the Sertoli cells and regulate the germinal epithelium. What is LH doing then? As you draw the structure, internal structure of your testes, then you observe that there is in the seminiferous tubule, in between, there is a mass of cells, interstitial cells. These are your Leydig cells. And these Leydig cells, now इनको कौन regulate करेगा? LH. LH will act at the leading cells. Leading cells, what will they do after stimulation or after regulation? They will start secreting androgen. बच्चे androgen क्या होते हैं? Androgens, they are male hormones, and there is only one male hormone which is very important, that is testosterone. And the moment Leydig cells, they will activate, they will start releasing testosterone. So if a male reaches at puberty, then these LH and FSH get activate. There is the sperm formation, as well as due to production of testosterone, a male will start showing secondary sexual characteristics like broadening of shoulder, deeper voice. These two hormones, they play major role in the puberty stage. One is giving rise to the sperm formation, spermatogenesis. Other is responsible for the hormone. The third in the last in the chart is the sperms. Whatever proteins, androgen binding protein, that is, or the factors released by the Sertoli cells, they help in the formation of your sperm formation, right? Here I have written spermiogenesis, that I will discuss with you in the spermatogenesis process, right? So you can simply even write down in your answer that they help in the spermatogenesis process. So this was all given to us in the chart. So I will see you again with another assignment or maybe some diagrammatic part, right? Till then, please go through these questions, and I will say that make your concept stronger, because in this chapter and in chapter number 2, all the diagrams, they are very, 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 very important, right? See you in the next video.